September 11th, 2001, an event happened that was to change the course of our history. We were attacked through the use of our own airplanes, our own civil airplanes, by Arab extremists, and most of them being from Saudi Arabia's supposed ally. And we all know what happened then. 4 airplanes were set out and were to hit targets. 2 hit the World Trade Center, 1 in each tower. 1 hit the Pentagon, and 1 was brought down by people on the plane who had found out what was going on with these hijacked planes. Several thousand people were wounded or killed in those attacks, and those 2 towers came down, and a huge chunk of the Pentagon was seriously damaged and had to be replaced. What happened next was almost as big a tragedy. We began a series of wars in the Middle East that was to change the face not only of the Middle East, but of ourselves. 20 years, the longest single warfare that we had ever been engaged in. And that included 2 world wars. The 2 world wars combined were nowhere near the length of the time we spent in the Middle East. Both of our children spent a lot of their Air Force career being in the Middle East, for doing things to support this 20-year war. Now, what did it accomplish? It destroyed Iraq. Iraq had a relatively good economy under Saddam Hussein. Yes, he was an autocrat, but the people, particularly women, had a pretty good life under him. That was damaged. We ended up going into Syria, and we know how that happened with ISIS. And then we abandoned the Kurds, who had done most of the fight against the Islamic State. But worst of all, we then went into Afghanistan, a place that had never been overthrown by either British in the 19th century, the Russians in the 20th, or us in the 21st century. When the decision was made, first by the former president, who actually negotiated with the Taliban, who I wouldn't call very honest negotiators, as it has turned out, to end that war and to pull out. He wanted to pull out by May 30th. That did not happen because he did not get elected president. The current president, Joseph Biden, decided he was going to go out, but it would be by the end of the 20-year period, or September 11th. And then even more so, he set up a time frame by August 31st. Figuring that we would have time in the meantime, because the Afghan forces would fight, as was promised by their president, to do that, and the military that we had trained and spent billions of dollars to train, to evacuate not only Americans, but as many of the Afghans that had helped us. Well, we all know how that went. The Taliban was successful because the Afghan army disappeared. They surrendered, they turned over their weapons, or they just faded into Pakistan or one of the other stands around there. And obviously, within a matter of days, they were right at the gates of the capital, Kabul. And in fact, took over as the president ran away to the United Arab Emirates, where he is today, leaving us in the lurch. The president decided to send a few thousand troops in there to allow us to evacuate as many people as we possibly could. We even nationalized some airliners to bring out as many people as we could. Today, the tragedy continued. The unneeded tragedy continued as people who claimed to be part of the Islamic State, the old ISIS, blew up near one of the gates, killing 12 American servicemen and wounding more, and killing over 60 Afghan civilians. This is, again, the price of an interminable 20-year war that did not need to be fought. Joe Biden himself tried to get President Obama not to make a surge and send a lot more troops in there, rather to wind it down. He lost out, and we are in the boat where we are now. Could the former president number 45, I hate to say his name, had made a better exit? I doubt it, and I doubt he would have tried to save any Afghan civilians. We'll never know. And interestingly enough, the people of his MAGA party think we should stay in there fighting, and they don't want Afghans brought into this country. You can't have it both ways, people. This is a 20-year tragedy. Yes, 9/11 was a horrible thing. Yes, we had to exact that pound of flesh from someone. But did we need to get in a 20-year war?